The ocean had a way of hiding secrets beneath its calm surface. On that warm California evening, the sky was painted in soft shades of gold and blue, the kind of sunset that made strangers slow their steps and families linger just a little longer. Laughter floated through the air, mixed with the sound of waves brushing against the shore. To most people, it was just another peaceful day at the beach. But for one man, it was the first day in a long time that felt almost normal. Ethan Carter stood near the waterline, his worn sneakers sinking slightly into the damp sand. In one hand, he held a small plastic bucket filled with seashells. In the other, his daughter's tiny fingers wrapped tightly around his own. Lily's laugh rang out as she chased a wave, her joy pure and unfiltered. Ethan watched her with a tired smile. He was 34, though the deep lines on his face made him look older. Life had pressed its weight onto his shoulders early. 3 years ago, he had buried his wife after a sudden illness that left no time for goodbyes. Since then, his world had narrowed to two things: surviving and raising his daughter the best he could. He worked double shifts as a construction foreman, waking before sunrise and coming home long after dark. The apartment they lived in was small, the walls cracked, the lights unreliable. But every night, Ethan made sure Lily went to bed feeling safe, loved, and protected. This beach trip was a rare gift, a promise he had made to her weeks ago and finally managed to keep. "Daddy, look!" Lily shouted, holding up a shell shaped like a heart. Ethan knelt beside her. "That's a good one," he said softly. "Your mom would have liked that." Lily smiled, not fully understanding the weight behind his words, only feeling the warmth in them. Then everything changed. At first, Ethan noticed the silence. The laughter nearby faded, replaced by confused murmurs. People were pointing toward the edge of the water. A woman lay motionless where the waves met the sand, her dark hair spread around her face, her body unnaturally still. Someone shouted, "Call 911." Another voice said, "Is she breathing?" Ethan's heart slammed against his ribs. He handed Lily the bucket. "Stay right here," he said, his voice firm but gentle. "Don't move." Before fear could stop him, he was already running. The woman's skin was pale, her lips tinged with blue. Water trickled from the corner of her mouth. A small crowd had formed, but no one stepped forward. Panic froze him in place. Ethan dropped to his knees. "I know CPR," he said loudly, more to steady himself than anyone else. He checked her pulse. Weak, irregular. "Come on," he whispered. His hands moved on instinct, compression steady, controlled. He counted under his breath, tilted her head, gave her air. Seconds stretched into eternity. Behind him, Lily began to cry. "Daddy." "It's okay," he called back. "Daddy's helping." Again and again, he pressed, breathed, prayed. Just when doubt crept in, when fear whispered that he might be too late, the woman's body jerked. She coughed violently, drawing in air like it was the first breath she had ever taken. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Her eyes fluttered open. Blue, sharp, confused. Ethan leaned back, breathless, then clinging to his arms. Relief washed over him so hard his hands trembled. "You're okay," he said softly. "You're safe." Paramedics arrived minutes later, pushing through the crowd. They took over, asking questions, checking vitals. "Who performed CPR?" one of them asked. Ethan raised his hand slightly. "You saved her life," the medic said. Ethan shook his head. Anyone would have done the same. But that wasn't true. As the woman was lifted onto a stretcher, her gaze searched the crowd. Her eyes locked onto Ethan. She reached out weakly. "Thank you," she whispered. Ethan gave a small nod, already turning away. He took Lily's hand and walked back toward the parking lot, disappearing before reporters or questions could find him. That night, in a luxury hotel overlooking the same ocean, the woman sat wrapped in a white robe, staring at the city lights below. Her name was Claire Donovan. To the world, she was a billionaire tech investor, CEO of one of the fastest-growing innovation firms in the country. Her life was measured in numbers, power, and headlines. She lived surrounded by assistants, security, and people who always wanted something from her. But none of that mattered when the waves dragged her under. She could still feel his hands. Strong, steady, human. He hadn't known who she was. He hadn't cared. That thought unsettled her more than almost dying. For the first time in years, she wondered what it would be like to be seen without her wealth casting a shadow. The next morning, Claire stood outside a worn apartment building, holding a small box of pastries. This was ridiculous, she told herself, but she knocked anyway. Ethan opened the door, confusion flickering across his face. "You," he said. Claire smiled nervously. "Hi. I just wanted to say thank you." "Properly." Lily peeked from behind Ethan's leg. Claire knelt down. "Hi," she said gently. "I'm Lily," the girl said. "I'm Claire." Ethan stepped aside. "Come in." The apartment was small but warm. Toys in the corner. Family photos taped to the wall. Claire felt something tighten in her chest. Over coffee and awkward conversation, she learned about Ethan's life. About Lily. About loss and resilience. He didn't ask her what she did for a living. He didn't pry. And for the first time in a long time, Claire didn't feel the need to hide behind success. Days turned into weeks. She found excuses to visit. Lily grew attached, her laughter filling the apartment. Ethan smiled more, though worry always lingered behind his eyes. Rumors began to spread. Ethan's co-workers whispered that he must be chasing money. Claire's board warned her about optics and image. Pressure mounted. One evening, they returned to the beach where it all began. The sun dipped low, painting the water gold. "I need to tell you something," Claire said. She told him everything. Ethan listened in silence. When she finished, fear clouded her eyes. "Finally," he spoke. "You're not a billionaire to me," he said quietly. "You're just the woman whose life I saved, and the woman who helped me believe in life again." Tears streamed down her face. Lily squeezed her hands together. The ocean whispered around them. And in that moment, titles disappeared. There was only love, courage, and a single breath that changed everything.